Imagine that there exists an invisible door within you, locked since birth. A door that, if you could open it, would unleash a flood of abilities, perceptions, and realities you only suspect exist. This door isn't located in a distant temple or on a sacred mountain. It lies deep within you. And the most surprising thing is that this mind isn't confined to your skull, your time, or your space. Today we delve into the most fascinating yet most ignored mystery of all, the quantum unconscious. Not the unconscious described in psychology textbooks, but that vast ocean of vibrations where every thought is a wave, every emotion a code, and every intention a portal to realities you haven't yet experienced. Most people live on the surface, believing their lives are limited by what they remember, what they understand, and what they see before their eyes. But beneath this surface layer lies a secret realm where the laws of physics are distorted. Time is no longer linear, and possibilities multiply like expanding galaxies. This is the realm of the quantum unconscious, where past and future are merely coordinates that you can rewrite. What you discover here is not abstract theory, but transformative knowledge. Because when you learn to unleash the power of your quantum unconscious, you cease to be a spectator and become the architect of your reality. You'll stop repeating unconscious patterns and begin to shape your own life. In this video, we'll show you step by step how to access this hidden level of yourself. We'll explore its connection to ancient mystical traditions and modern physics. We'll reveal techniques and mental keys for awakening dormant potential. And above all, you'll understand that the quantum unconscious isn't a myth or a metaphor. It's a living tool waiting to be activated by you. Prepare to question your ideas about yourself. Prepare to feel your reality shaken, not as a threat, but as the prelude to new creation. Because this isn't just about your mind, but about the entire map of your destiny. Today, on this journey, we open the door. To understand the quantum unconscious, we must travel back much further than any modern neuroscience textbook. We must delve into the flow of history, where even ancient peoples sensed that the human mind is not a closed box, but a bridge between worlds. In the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, for example, it was taught that K, the life essence, could travel through invisible planes, bringing with it information, healing, and revelations. The priests viewed the mind not as a biological mechanism, but as a vibrational field connected to the entire cosmos. Every ritual, every meditation before the hieroglyphic walls was a method of aligning consciousness with a deeper level, what we would today call the quantum unconscious. In Vedic India, the sages spoke of kasha, an ether that contains everything: thoughts, events, emotions, and possible futures. They believed that through deep meditation, people could access this field and thus receive not only images of the past, but also possibilities for future developments. In this view, the mind was like an antenna that could tune into realities, depending on the quality of its inner vibration. In the shamanic tradition of America, soul journeying was not just a spiritual metaphor, but a genuine practice for reaching hidden layers of the psyche and bringing forth visions, symbols, and energies that could transform lives. Daily, shamans knew that in sleep and trance, the spirit was no longer bound by the laws of matter and could interact with a larger structure in which thought directly influenced form. Even in classical Greece, philosophers like Plato and Plotinus spoke of a world of ideas or a universal intellect, a dimension in which the pure forms of all that exists persist eternally. The human soul, they claimed, in its most lucid or inspired moments, had access to this realm, and from there, attained truths that transcended sensory experience. What's fascinating is that these traditions, although separated by oceans and centuries, agreed on one point: there is an invisible field, a placeless place, where the spirit expands and connects with the whole. And in this space, the boundaries between what I think and what is blur. Today, in the language of quantum physics, we can describe it as a field of possibilities, in which every thought leads to a specific reality. But this insight is not new. It is a modern echo of ancient knowledge, The ancients taught it with myths, symbols, and rituals. We do it with equations and experiments. The message is the same. The human mind, in its depths, is a tool of cosmic creation. Imagine your mind as a vast ocean. On the surface, the waves represent your conscious thoughts. The tasks you remember, the decisions you make, the words you speak. But beneath this surface lies a vast, silent, and profound world, your subconscious. And even deeper, in a layer not everyone can reach, lies the quantum subconscious. The place where the currents of individual thought merge with the ocean of universal consciousness. The quantum subconscious is not simply the accumulated memories of your life or the instinctual impulses you inherited. It's a field of interconnectedness where your mind connects with everything in existence. There, the barriers between you and the world dissolve. Your inner images and the fabric of reality share the same vibrational space. This means that what you imagine, what you deeply feel, and what you truly believe don't remain locked away in your skull. It projects itself into the quantum field and begins to shape the possibilities of your experience. To understand this, imagine a spider's web stretched in the dark. Every time an insect brushes against one of its threads, the vibration spreads in waves throughout the entire web. Similarly, when you express an emotionally charged thought, this vibration travels through the quantum field, causing subtle adjustments in the web that maintains reality. Unlike the psychological unconscious, which is primarily based on conditioning and memories, the quantum unconscious responds directly to the vibrational energy of what you radiate. If your conscious mind is like an architect drawing plans, the quantum unconscious is the master builder, who sets the work in motion on the invisible plane without question. Herein lies a secret that many ignore. The quantum unconscious doesn't understand no or negation. It only stores images, sensations, and frequencies. When you say to yourself, "I don't want to fail," what is stored at this level is not the word no, but the vibration of failure. Therefore, the way you formulate your thoughts and decisions is crucial. The ancients already knew this, and therefore their prayers and mantras were always written in the present tense, in direct, certainty-filled affirmations. The bridge to this quantum unconscious is built on 3 pillars. First, focused attention. What is observed with full concentration acquires a greater vibrational weight and tends to materialize more quickly. Second, heightened emotions. Without emotions, a thought is like an isolated spark. With emotions, it becomes a flash of lightning that illuminates the entire field. Third, rhythmic repetition. Deep consciousness is programmed with repeating patterns. Like a drop of water constantly falling on a rock, consistency forms the invisible fabric. At this point, you must understand that every dream, every sudden intuition, every meaningful coincidence is a sign that your quantum unconscious is at work. When you sleep, you travel into this depth and, without realizing it, rearrange the threads of your reality. And when you meditate, you consciously enter this space and can sow the seeds of what you wish to experience. True power lies in the realization that you are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active co-creator who, through the quantum unconscious, can open doors to realities that seem impossible today. The difference between someone trapped in inertia and someone transforming their life lies not in luck, but in the ability to consciously direct what they bring into this invisible field. If the quantum unconscious is the great hidden architect of our reality, then learning its language is like receiving the keys to a kingdom that has always belonged to you but remained locked. This language, however, does not consist of words like those we use in everyday life. It is not expressed through grammar or formal logic, but through symbols, vibrations, and states of consciousness. One of the biggest mistakes most people make when attempting to manifest or reprogram themselves is to speak to the quantum unconscious in the language of the intellect. They question it in long, ambiguous sentences or formulate requests as if begging for an uncertain favor. This deep level doesn't respond to weak requests. It responds to clear images and strong emotions. In shamanic traditions, for example, rituals are not mere theatrical performances. but symbolic techniques. When the shaman dresses in feathers, chants a mantra, and draws a sacred circle, he or she speaks directly to the quantum unconscious of the participant and the community, imprinting a new vibrational structure on the collective consciousness. The same thing happens with mantras in the Vedic tradition or visualizations in Hermetic mental alchemy. Everything is designed to operate in the command zone, where images and emotions shape reality. This is where a crucial nuance comes into play: coherence. It's not enough to consciously wish for something if the rest of your being vibrates at a different frequency. For example, you say, "I want abundance," but deep down, you may be afraid of not deserving it. This inner contradiction is like sending opposing commands simultaneously. The quantum unconscious receives confusing signals, and therefore reality manifests incoherently. To reach your true creative potential, you must harmonize 3 levels: conscious thought, what you believe and affirm; inner emotions, the vibrational fuel that supports that thought; physiological state, posture, breathing. The inner rhythm must align with the desired emotion. When these 3 elements align, the quantum unconscious receives a clear signal and acts like lightning, connecting heaven and earth. A simple example: if you want to manifest health, it's not enough to simply say, "I am healthy," while slumped and breathing shallowly. You must feel the vitality in every cell, breathe like an energized person, and imagine your body in harmony. The quantum unconscious doesn't differentiate between real experience and vivid imagination. Both leave the same impression on the field. Another important nuance is the present tense. This level doesn't understand the future the way the rational mind does. For it, everything happens now. Therefore, decrees and affirmations must be formulated as present realities, not as distant promises. "I am abundant." Vibrate with more power than "I will be in abundance." For the second sentence places your wish in a future that is constantly changing and never comes to pass. Initiatory cultures taught that this work with the quantum unconscious serves not only to satisfy personal desires, but also to harmonize the microcosm with the macrocosm. By raising your vibration and purifying your intentions, what you manifest not only benefits you, but also organizes part of the collective field. This is true magic that transforms your life and simultaneously influences the fabric of shared reality. But here's a warning: everything you enter into the quantum unconscious, whether consciously or subconsciously, germinates. When you nurture thoughts of fear, resentment, or lack, you sow seeds that will sooner or later bear fruit. Therefore, inner vigilance, the constant observation of your mental and emotional dialogue, is an essential discipline. In short, unlocking the power of the quantum unconscious is not a single act, but a lifestyle. It means living each moment like an artist, painting on the invisible canvas of the universe, knowing that every stroke, every color, and every shape are direct commands executed with absolute precision by this deep mind. If the quantum unconscious is the deep ocean where all sorts of things await us, then each of us is a diver who has only swum on the surface so far. To dive in and unleash one's true power, curiosity is not enough. It requires method, perseverance, and clear intention. The first key is conscious observation. Imagine your mind as a garden. You can't plant flowers if the soil is covered with weeds. Mindful observation means recognizing the thoughts and emotions that arise without filtering them, but also without nurturing them. The goal is to identify negative seeds before they take root. Every time you recognize a limiting thought and replace it with an expansive one, you give the quantum unconscious a clear command to recalibrate your vibration. The second key is the conscious use of creative imagination. Remember that this deep level makes no distinction between physical reality and vivid, imagined reality. If you take a minute every day to visualize your goal in detail, use all your senses, and feel like you've already achieved it, you'll leave an energetic imprint on the quantum field. Treat it like clay modeling, not in haste, but with love and precision. The third key is to bring your body and mind into the same vibrational state. Posture, breathing, and inner rhythm are silent messages that your quantum subconscious absorbs. If, for example, you're looking for self-confidence, adopt the posture of someone who already possesses it. Straight back, deep breathing, calm gaze. Over time, the subconscious mind interprets this signal as evidence and adjusts your reality accordingly. The fourth key is to work in the eternal present. Avoid projecting your desires as something that will one day come true. The quantum subconscious mind works in the now. Your decrees and visualizations should be formulated in the present tense, using expressions like I am, I have, I live. This isn't self-deception, but rather means tuning into the exact vibration of what you wish to manifest. The fifth key is ritualized repetition. It's not enough to simply do a mental exercise every now and then. The quantum unconscious is reprogrammed through repetition and consistency. Define a sacred time of day. It could be at dawn or before bedtime, and dedicate these minutes to your intentions, visualizations, or meditation. The repeated action not only imprints the message, but also creates a stable, energetic space for manifestation. Finally, the sixth key is purity of intention. The quantum unconscious amplifies everything, even what you don't want. If you try to manifest out of fear, lack, or resentment, you amplify these vibrations. On the other hand, if you act out of love, gratitude, and harmony, the field will respond by ordering the chaos in your favor. Unleashing this power ultimately means embracing your role as a conscious co-creator. You are no longer a passive spectator in the movie of your life. You are the screenwriter, director, and protagonist all at once. At this point, we can no longer view our quantum unconscious as a distant curiosity or an unattainable mystery. You have realized that it is not a mere repository of memories or a dark well that is only activated in dreams. It is, in fact, the bridge between your deepest self and the invisible, framework that sustains all of reality. Where physical laws seemingly cease, the quantum unconscious continues to operate, obeying a language older than words, the language of vibrations, images, and pure intention. When you understand this, you can no longer claim that your life is a product of chance. You can also no longer believe that your thoughts have no consequences beyond your own mind. Every emotion you cultivate, every word you speak, and every image you hold, internally are coded commands that the quantum unconscious translates and projects into physical reality. So the question is no longer, is this working? But what am I creating? It's likely that a part of you feels a holy giddiness right now as you hear this. The feeling of always having enormous power in your hands, but letting it lie dormant out of fear, doubt, or distraction. But this time of inertia is over. The call is there, and it's no coincidence that you're hearing it now. The quantum unconscious is awakened not by speech, but by experience. Therefore, your next conscious action will be more powerful than anything you've done. So far out of inertia, imagine for a moment that every day before going to bed, you consciously sow a seed into this vast field. It could be the image of your perfect health, the feeling of unconditional love, or the clear vision of a fulfilled life goal. Now imagine doing this not just one night, but every night, knowing that there can be no failure. Because, at the quantum level, everything sown with coherence thrives. This consistency is the true awakening of the creator that you are. Remember, this awakening will not only change your individual life. Every time one of us raises our vibration and acts with conscious power, we contribute to a larger change, an invisible network of awakened minds that is gradually shifting the frequency of the collective. The personal and the universal are intertwined, and your inner journey has implications far beyond your measurability. From now on, see yourself not as someone trying to awaken your quantum unconscious, but as someone who already does. Every thought you choose today is a milestone on the path to that version of yourself that lives in complete harmony with the power you've always had. The world no longer needs passive spectators. It needs awakened creators. And with these words, you've already taken the first step